Okay, dear viewer, many thanks to you for joining us on your favorite program, The Arena, coming to you on Aneka Television today. I hope you're chilling well wherever you are joining us on our media platforms on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook. Okay, today on The Arena, we will be looking at the crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party. And then let's look at what hope lies there for the opposition political parties in Nigeria. And to help us do justice to this matter, we have a former member of the Enugu State House of Assembly who is joining us virtually all the way from the United States of America, where he is at the moment. Um, Over here in Nigeria, it is afternoon, so am I okay to say good afternoon to you, Honorable Okenwoke?
It's supposed to be good morning. But anything good is okay, whether afternoon, night, or evening. But now it is just 7:07 a.m. here in New York.
Okay, so it is good afternoon for us and it is good morning for you in the United States of America. What a world we live in anyway. I must have to say that it's been a long while. It's been a long while since you traveled, but then the world has become a global village. We appreciate your deep knowledge of political activities and your analysis. And that's why we have to trace you down to the United States, you know. You can't hide, Honorable Kemuke. You can't hide. All right, so you're welcome on board. So there you are. Sit back as the program unfolds. My name is Chris Anibogu. So Honorable Kemuke, you are a member of the People's Democratic Party, or you were a member. Which one is it for you?
By virtue of orientation and manifesto, I am a member of PDP. But by virtue of the present happening, Chris, I would say I'm still undecided. I'm still watching the water. So I'm sitting on the fence for now.
All right, you are a politician. We understand. Okay, how would you want to put it? Your party, the People's Democratic Party, gave you the opportunity to represent your good people, the good people of Igbo Etiti West state constituency at the Enugu State House of Assembly. Yes, the crisis rocking the party at the moment. How do you see it, sir? How do you see it?
Chris, thank you very much. I think it's quite unfortunate what is happening today in my beloved party, PDP. Remember, PDP started in 1998. And also, just as a matter of correction of some misconceptions, the first chairman of PDP, we should remember, was late Alex Ekweme. Because people will start counting beyond Alex Ekweme as a national chairman of PDP. So, which means, inadvertently, that party is the Southeastern Party by virtue of origination. Because it was the combination of the G18 and G34 that made up PDP. At that time, it was involving all major stakeholders of the northern and southern, I would say, protectorate, excluding the southwest, which was being managed by AD, which were being spearheaded by the present president, Tinubu, and then the late Bola Ige. And then it's not of surprise to me today that the crisis bedeviling PDP has its root cause from the Southwesterner who was ab initio against PDP, even becoming the president of Nigeria today. And little wonder why somebody who says he's a PDP stakeholder working for APC under the present president who was an AD at the inception of the democratic rule in Nigeria is managing the crisis happening in PDP today. Because we really need to know the root cause as to know how we can resolve this issue.
That's right.
And therefore, remember that the present president was the governor of Lagos State then for 2 tenures. After the first tenure of President Olusegun Obasanjo, almost all the southwestern states veered towards PDP except Lagos. And therefore, the man who was there as the governor then is today the president. Why wouldn't you expect some avoidable manipulative crisis in PDP? This is the origin of the crisis of PDP today.
Okay. It's within the nature of man to always shift blames, cast aspersions, accusing fingers when issues arise. Are you trying to blame the current president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for being responsible for the crisis rocking your party, when we understand that your party is unable to settle itself since the crisis that's erupted with the 2023 elections, beginning with the 2022 primary elections in your party? What has that got to do with the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, at the moment?
Well, if you had read all the interviews granted to the president of Nigeria, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, there was a time he said he is happy that the opposition PDP is having crisis. He was happy, or he is happy. In a pure democratic setup, even the ruling government should not be happy when the opposition is in crisis, because it is only dovetailing to one-party system. So, if the president will say openly to the world that he is happy that PDP is having crisis, and by the time you look at the genealogy of this crisis, being somebody working actively with the president's government party in government, then you cannot say it is not inadvertently responsible for the crisis. Because we see Wike being I wouldn't want to go to the point of saying personal non-granta as far as this is concerned. But he is the person, the anchor, the arrowhead of this crisis in PDP.
Okay,
I would say that the president is inadvertently responsible for the crisis, rocking the opposition. Parties, not even PDP, parties in the country.
Okay, we'll get down to the crux of the matter, Honorable Okay. But I just like on the note we started off with you. It's obvious, it's no longer a hidden fact that the PDP, during the words of your former principal, while you were in office, during his days in office as well, the former governor of Enugu State, Barrister Sullivan Ihana Chochime, who actually left the PDP when he left his seat as governor. He said that the party PDP that they were members, is dead and cremated. That's exactly his words he used during the day, on the day he actually left your party, the PDP. So it's quite unfortunate, but we are getting signals from the background that we need to go on a very quick break, but that will not take long, and then we'll return to the show. Honorable Okay. When we get back to you, we will be looking at the role played by the principal elements in the party. You know what I mean? Let's leave Bola Ahmed Tinubu by the side. He's a master strategist. We'll give it to him any day, any time. He's a very good strategist when it comes to political strategy. So, but the role played by the principal elements within the party PDP, talking about Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, talking about Nyesom Wike, and then the current national, leadership of the party. We can see what is going on with Damagum, going on with Senator Anyanwu, and the likes of them. And I know you are aware that the current governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Ndubuisimba, has actually also left the PDP alongside so many other state governors in Nigeria. So we'll return to you, and when we do that, we'll look critically at this issue. Just stay with us, please. Is that okay?
Thank you very much.
All right. So, dear viewer, don't go away. We just got signals that we need to go on this very important break now, but we'll return in the next few seconds. Stay with us.
The Arena with Chris and Ibogo is the platform where we meet to take critical analysis of burning and topical issues and matters in the society as to proper solutions on making the society better.
You came into office, you locked the door to everybody. Nobody can even access you. You don't even play the politics.
Month in, month out, year in, year out. So where is the money going to? Where's the resources?
Whenever the economy is in a shambles, you find the government embracing pro-people policy to assuage the harsh economic reality.
It was used to settle political interest, and Nigerians were paying dearly for it.
Tune in to the Arena with Chris and Ibogo every Monday through Thursday by 1 p.m. only on Aneke TV. Join us.
With Uche Osai.
Having the political will to confront whatever is the challenges.
Igbo man wrestles with
the tortoise that had a lot of ingenuity, a lot of ideas, and the tireless.
It will take the bold mind of government in power to say, let there be electoral reform, no matter whose fault is God.
I was there. We did everything. All of us came and supported him with our last blood.
In-depth analysis, expert views, real voices. Uncover the stories shaping Nigeria today. Deep dive, honest, unfiltered, only on the Insight with Uche Osai on Aneke TV.
The Arena with Chris and Ibogo is the platform where we meet to take critical analysis of burning and topical issues and matters in the society as to proper solutions on making the society better.
You came into office, you locked the door to everybody. Nobody can even access you. You don't even play the politics.
Month in, month out, year in, year out. So where is the money going to? Where's the resources?
Whenever the economy is in a shambles, you find the government embracing pro-people policy to assuage the harsh economic reality.
It was used to settle political interest, and Nigerians were paying dearly for it.
Tune in to the Arena with Chris and Ibogo every Monday through Thursday by 1 p.m. only on Aneke TV. Join us.
Oh, okay, good to return to the show, dear viewer. It's still the Arena on Aneke Television. And before I went on that quick break, I told us that we are being joined virtually by Honorable Kenwoke, a former member of the Enugu State House of Assembly, who is joining us virtually all the way from New York in the United States of America. We are just doing an analysis of the crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party. Once upon a time, political party that touted to be the greatest party in Africa. You know, they boasted about it, but today is living in its own shadows. Hello, Honorable Kenwoke, are you there, sir? Hello, can you hear me, sir? Hello, can you hear me, sir? Okay, I think we are having some connection challenges here, but hello, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you here.
Okay, you're hearing me.
Yeah.
All right, so good to return with you to the show. Before we went on the break, I told you, yes, it's good. It's good we are pointing accusing fingers, outside the party. But let's look within. Let's look within, just to see the role being played by some principal elements in your party, the PDP. Honorable Kenwoke, how would you describe the role played by Elijah Atiku Abubakar, who has eventually even also stormed the PDP? The PDP made him the presidential candidate of the party during the 2018-2019 general elections. In the 2022-2023 elections, he also stood in as a presidential candidate of the party, only for him to dump the party now. The role played by Eze Onwike, the FCT minister, former governor of Rivers State, is also on the other hand. So we'll take it one at a time. We'll begin with Elijah Atiku Abubakar's role, please, in your own words.
All right, then. All right, thank you, Chris. For Atiku Abubakar, his role, it's like what my traditional Akko people would say, that the cough assisted the sick man to die. First of all, I ran an election in 2018, 2019 as House of Reps. I wanted to go for House of Reps. So every activities that culminated in bringing in Secondus as the national chairman of PDP, we were there at the Eagle Square when it played out. A single person was allowed to do that, which was just a week. But like you say, we will have to come to that later. Now, Atiku Abubakar wanted to run an election. He had his conspirators, and they worked that out in 2019. Then dovetailing to 2023, at a point when even the party system said they are going to get stuck on the zoning system. If you could remember, Atiku Abubakar said, if this presidential ticket is going to be zoned to the south, it should be micro-zoned to the southeast. And once it is zoned and micro-zoned to the southeast, he was not going to run that election. But having his own shrewd activities, went and then concocted the zoning committee, which was made up of some governors, where they now were supposed to micro-zone that ticket to southeast. Doing everything, at the end of the day, they now said, oh, it's an open ticket for everybody to run. When it was now brought to south, which was in negation with the agreement or the vocal agreement that Atiku said. So Atiku now found it that it was now becoming for Wike to be the only candidate to run. Microzoning to South-South. Now, why would Wike want to run for presidency when it was Jonathan living there? Jonathan, who made him the minister and then assisted him to be who he is. So after Jonathan running for an election, winning an election and being a president, then the next president should be Wike, and then Wike will be happy and will say we are running one Nigeria. So that now led to Atiku saying no, the agreement is already disrupted at the beginning. So he now had to come to run. People should not be blaming Atiku for coming to run that election in 2023.
Oh, really?
People should be blaming Wike.
Oh, really?
For wanting to use his own resources and his own shrewdness to allot that ticket to himself. And that was where all this crisis started. And you could see from removing Secondus, because Secondus being from his own state cannot be the national chairman of the party while he will be run for president, forcefully removing Wike. Then when Iyota Yona came to stand the ground of the party constitution, he now removed Yotayo. Now look at Damagu, he brought it, bringing them together with Senator Anyanwu. And when Damagu began to remember him, recall himself, you could see now, and he's now between Anyanwu and Damagu now, causing the crisis. So the pivot of this crisis, apart from the unseen hand of the ruling party, I can say, hands on Wike himself. Not even Atiku. Atiku has nothing to do with this. Atiku came out to run for 2020 election because they faulted in the zoning system, using the zoning committee made up of some of our governors who are people we knew.
And one of such governors happens to be the former governor of Enugu State, your own brother from Enugu North constituency where you're coming from. I'm talking about former governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, isn't that so?
That's correct.
Aha.
But what I saw in it, having to actually not be so forceful against that decision was that he was only a person in that committee. A committee of 5. I don't think if he had even stood his ground to say no, that there would have been, he would have made a difference, even if he was the chairman of that committee. Remember, we always say that the majority takes the votes. The minority can have their say. So at the end of the day, because of the unilateral influence Wike was having on the party, through the national chairman, through being the sponsor of this the party and every other financial sponsor, donor, now had to influence everything coming out of it. So even though the former governor, who happens to be my brother, whom I know too well, was part of that committee, we can't forgive him to an extent that he himself alone wouldn't have made a difference. But the only thing we would have said is he would have voiced out his own minority voice, even though the majority would have taken the stand.
Well, we also understand that some of them had to rally around Nyesom Week, constitute themselves into a group called the Integrity Men of Integrity, the G5. Aha. So we saw the role each of them play. But let's not concentrate our discussion on that angle. Let's look at the role played by Eze Onwike. You seem to be exonerating Alhaji Atiku Abubakar from the whole crisis. So if you are saying the crisis is all about Wike's own personal interest, which could be selfish, if there's any word like that in politics anyway, why did the PDP allow itself to be single-handedly, run under the domineering influence of Nyesom Eze Onwike as an individual? Could a political party turn to be a pawn in the hands of just one individual? Honorable Kenwoke.
Well, Chris, thank you very much. Well, the unfortunate thing is the way we run politics in our own climate. They always look at politics as taking money from the system, not even giving. So if anybody who has an inadvertent thought or idea comes into the party, you always see the person taking over. Because what would have asked you, like I said here, I said the issue of PDP crisis didn't start 2023 or 20, it started in 2017. I was there at the Eagle Square. have oath. Where were you people when I was funding this party? It's only in Nigerian climb that you can see one person boast. If it is to be in a Western country, Wike would have been in prison for even making that statement, because no single person, if they will ask you, where are you getting the money you are using to fund the party? For a candidate to run an election in a Western climb, you must declare where every penny you are using for that election comes to. So, but he had to make that statement in 2017, and everybody had to back down to allow him bring secondus, which means he was running PDP as a personal business. That was where the crisis started. And so when secondus, he now also found secondus to have been done what he wanted, and secondus became a spent bullet, he also removed him and brought the Ochari single-handedly. But this was against the principle of the people who established the party. When late Alex Ekweme was a member of the party, when former President Obasanjo was the member, Bamanga Tokoro, Audo Ogbe, Amadu Ali, named them. Even though the sitting president wants to change a national chairman, the sitting president then, like Olusegun Obasanjo or Jonathan, there will be the process. I was at Eagle Square when the acting national chairman, who was my own uncle and brother, Okpukpu, His Excellency, was removed as an acting national chairman. He still took the processes of the National Working Committee, no matter how concocted. But not for one person to sit in his house, in his parlor, and then say, oh, it's going to be secondary. Oh, I'm removing secondary. Oh, it's going to be HI. Oh, I'm removing the HI. It's going to be Damagu. Oh, Anyanwu, who ran an election in Imo State as a governor, when they have failed the election, came back and still, and then people are looking at it that he is still, and then there's a divide that, oh, he's still the national secretary of the party. Oh, he is not. That wouldn't have done. And then we also cast the blame on some other sitting governors there. What were you doing with your own state fund? Because I know Wike didn't fund PDP with his own personal money. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have the wherewithal. I have to be frank to you. He was using River State money. And somebody is in Enugu State as a governor. Somebody was in Oyo State as a governor. Dito Benue State. Where were you that 5 governors will come and will be rallying under another governor of yours as if you are following a president? So, in as much as we are blaming Wike, we are also passing the buck on all these sitting stakeholders. Why would I wrote a letter, not quite 3 weeks to former Governor Okpukpu. I said, if your father was alive and a member of PDP, this thing happening to PDP will not happen. Why were we so complacent and docile that one single person would tend to take over the whole party, a national party like PDP? It was unfortunate. So Wike has his own blame, but also other stakeholders, well-meaning stakeholders. For instance, you talked about my former, he was not my former principal because I was not under him. I was in the House of Assembly.
Yes, you were under, you worked under us. Under.
I didn't work under him, I worked with him. I was the part of legislature, he was part of the executive.
That's right.
So for the former Governor Sullivan to say that PDP is cremated, is dead and cremated, it's unfortunate because he benefited. He was a commissioner under PDP, he was a governor for 8 years under PDP, and immediately he left. Less than 6 months when he left, he ran into APC. That is biting the finger that fed you. And then standing up to say that it's dead and cremated, what did you do to resuscitate that party? So everybody has a blame on that. As we get along.
All right. Now, it's obvious Wike is wielding, uncontrollable influence over the party. We understand from your analysis and some other analysis of some pundits that he was responsible for the emergence of the national executive structure of the party. Because the question remains, if Wike is still in PDP and he is working for an APC government, shouldn't there be sanctions? Why has he not been suspended on anti-party grounds? Why is he still there? On the case with Anyanwu, yes, you said Anyanwu left as national secretary to contest the governorship election in Imo. We understand. But when he lost the election, he returned. He said he did not resign. I went through your constitution, the PDP constitution. I went through the constitution. And I think there is a lacuna in in the constitution that says the person may resign. May. I think that's where he capitalized his position to say, okay, I did not resign, so I'm back again to my position. So the back and forth, Honorable K, yes, the back and forth. The back and forth. We will continue blaming and blaming. Now, back to the current matter now in the party. We saw where the NWC started preparing for the national convention of the party. But then some elements went to court, especially the national secretary, saying on grounds of some allegations, you understand. Only the other day for us to hear the news report that the secretary has been suspended by the National Working Committee. And again, the national secretary has in turn suspended the national chairman. What is going on, okay? Is this the once upon a time political party that boasted to be the largest in Africa? What is going on?
Thank you, Chris. That is the unseen hand I am talking about. Now, on a very natural level of equity, justice, and fairness, between the national chairman of a party and the secretary, who is more powerful? That's the first question.
Okay.
Yeah. And then secondly, now, in a constituted national working committee, and the chairman, national chairman, between the national chairman and the national secretary, who first suspended who? Now, the third question is, can a suspended personnel or individual in the national working committee turn around to suspend the national chairman? That the question is that the answers are: one, the national chairman is more powerful than the national secretary in a constituted national working committee.
Okay.
Secondly, the national chairman was the first to suspend the national secretary. And until the national secretary turned around to suspend the national chairman, the national secretary remained suspended. So in a very, very organized crime, there is no even way the national secretary will stand up to say anything again because the national chairman has suspended him. But why allowing such to continue, and maybe they will now go to court and then court will start listening to such petitions and say, who is the organizing secretary was suspended more than 24 hours. It wasn't even as if it was simultaneous, it wasn't parallel. It took about 24 hours before the organizing secretary came up to have the purported suspension of the national, which is null and void to the extent of every law that I know.
And at the moment, we understand there is an acting chairman of the party. Does that stand?
Instituted by who? By Anyanwanko. And gullible people like Fayoshe will not say that recognizing who? Do you recognize illegality? That is the country we have found ourselves. Why would you say you are recognizing acting national chairman instituted by a suspended national secretary of the party? It doesn't work that way. So you see that the whole thing is just to push the party more into crisis, which will continue until after 2027 election. And then why do you tell me that it is not being managed by the ruling party?
Okay, now, as things stands at the moment, Honorable Kenwoke, as things stands in the party, would you blame our brother, the governor of Enugu State, who once stood as the leader of the PDP in the Southeast, Dr. Peter Ndubisimba, for actually dumping the party to joining the ruling APC? Would you blame him for doing that?
Well, Chris, it's 50-50. Initially, he would be blamed because if Wike was to wield this force because he was a governor, and no more a governor today, but a minister, we expected our state governor to wear that shield of being the party leader and then standing his ground fear of the next election, our governor. I have to make this statement. It's unfortunate, but I worked with Chimaroke for some time until I came to the house. Chimaroke will tell you, do you know the powers of a governor? That red pen is more powerful than even the... Wike is a minister for crying out loud. Today, our governor has appointed a minister who designates who is going to go for screening. That is what it looks like. You cannot compare the powers of a governor to that of a minister. But I didn't know where the fear or the phobia came that made our governor succumb so easily to move. Because the fear is that he will run the election and there will be some court litigations and he may lose the election.
That's right.
But I knew that even in Abia State, when Ojozo Kalo ran out of favor with Obasanjo in PDP, he had to institute PPA, put a candidate there, and then won an election. Even when PDP was the was the ruling party. I didn't know. Tinubu ran election 2 times in Lagos State against PDP and won. Where is all these fears coming from? Has anything changed in Nigeria that we don't know? So these are the things we have initially had to blame him, but because he wants to remain in power beyond 2027 to keep doing the good work he's doing, nobody will blame him. That's the way I see it.
All right, that's where you see it. Well, before we round off on the show, what hope lies ahead for the party and the rest of the opposition parties tonight? Because the way it begins to look, with the mass defection of governors, politicians leaving the PDP, leaving the Labour Party, joining the All Progressives Congress, as we speak now in the Southeast, PDP is not having any state at the moment in the Southeast. In the South, you are aware that the current governor of Bayelsa, Diodiri, has equally joined the APC just the other day. So out of the 6 states in the South, we just have the River State, Fubara, whom we also understand he's one leg here, one leg there. He's actually, we could say he's of the PDP anyway. But the remaining 5 states in the South are all APC states. And if you go to the Southwest, we'll give it to Oyo State. Makinde has been standing his grounds. Adeleke of Osun State has been standing his grounds in the PDP. But the others are APC. And then let's go to the North, and North Central, Northeast, Northwest. So it's beginning to look like we are drifting towards one party system in Nigeria. What hope lies there for the opposition parties, especially your party, the PDP, now?
Well, Chris, let me say something.
You
don't do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. And then we have to live in memories. If you can remember, when it was PDP, it was almost 28 states PDP. There was a time it was 28 states of Nigeria PDP. Where are they today? So the defection will come. The resultant effect is implosion. And then after 2027 election, moving down to 2031, let's see what happens. The same thing, because we are recycling. It's a vicious movement, vicious circle. Yeah, the government in power, everybody goes there to get the national cake. The government in power leaves. Everybody wants to run election, implosion, and then we scatter, and we still find our way. Until we do it differently. Until the institutions are given the strength and powers to stand, it is still good. So it's not. Don't be surprised. Let everybody not be deterred. Yeah, everybody at the point maybe 2027, the 36 states will run in APC, but some people will be disillusioned, and by 2031, it's going to scatter. So it's just a vicious movement. But PDP, if they're able beyond expunging the bad eggs like Wike and co in the system, finding their foot, will still come back. It is quite different to convince people. If you go to my town now, it is very difficult to convince an old woman that there is something like PDP, which is what our state APC is going to have a little, because the woman knows umbrella and only umbrella. He doesn't know Dr. Pitamba. He doesn't know Ugwai. He doesn't know Naji. What he knows is umbrella. So by the time you want to now convince him to go to Broom, you must have to do some more detailed work. And detail most of those PDP, like if you go to Bauchi, it's going to be very hard for you to say you are expunging everything concerning PDP. Because this party has rooted in them. So I am strongly believing that beyond the storm, PDP is still going to bounce back.
Beyond the storm, PDP is going to bounce back. The BOT chairman of the PDP, the former Senate President of Nigeria, Adolfo Sunwabara, today has been calling on the PDP stalwarts to come together for peace to reign. Do you think the principal elements in the party PDP will listen to him, especially looking at his position as a BOT chairman?
Because the needful has not been done.
What is the needful?
Let the national chairman or the National Working Committee open their mouth and say, we are suspending Wike from PDP today. He will go to court. Other things will come, but first of all, make that pronouncement. Why is it hard for the PDP stakeholders, the National Working Committee, inclusive with the BOT, opening their mouth to say, Wike, you are suspended from PDP? What is anti-party, for crying out loud? What is happening? What is happening and people are keeping quiet? What is the cause of this complacency? Is it voodoo? I don't believe in voodoo. This thing was not up to what the acting national chairman Okpukpu did, and he was removed from being the acting chairman. It was just an internal party affair. But this is somebody, line, hook, and sinker, body and spirit and soul, working with the ruling party and coming to cause unnecessary and avoidable obstructions. And what is the board saying? What can the board with the National Working Committee suspend Wike? Let's see whether the world will come to an end that day.
All right, so that's the needful that needs to be done.
What he is doing, what he is calling people, might not work, because for me, you have not. I am running an information technology career here. What in looking for a problem, we look at the root cause. And why you get to the root cause is to get the thing solved and not allow it happen again. The root cause of the crisis in PDP is Wike, and until Wike is suspended and sacked, let him go to court. People will be going there to court to repair, and then the PDP will use that time to reorganize themselves and move ahead.
All right, we'll leave discussion there until more developments comes up. We expect more development to come up in the next few days or weeks in the party. We equally look forward to having you join us. I know we had to stress you, bringing you on the show today, but then you're always a media-friendly person back in the days, and thank you for availing us the opportunity now. I don't know, you are in the United States of America. Party ideology is supreme in the party systems there. We know of the Republicans, we know of the Democrats. And we also understand that an election just took place the other day. Was it not 4th November, somewhere in the US, or I don't know. You could talk to us about it, because we understand to an extent you had some involvement in the elections there too. Am I right, sir?
Well, it's a behind-the-scene involvement, okay? It's a behind-the-scene involvement of technologies being used. That's all.
All right, now. So
yeah,
what?
But you could see what is happening here. The president is there. Election was run. Democrats won the party. The election. The Democrat won in New York, won in New Jersey. So that is what it's supposed to be. Let the masses, let the people vote. Let the best candidates come. That's all.
That's all, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There are some other national and international burning issues we would like to take up with you from time to time. We hope you're going to avail us the opportunity. The president of U.S., where you are right now, has sent a message, a warning message to the Nigerian government over the killing of Christians here. We are still watching to see what happens next. We are looking at electoral reforms in the country, Nigeria, as we get geared for the 2027 election. These are issues we'd like to take up with you hopefully anytime soon. I hope you will avail us the opportunity, sir.
The pleasure will be mine.
That's all right.
And I
That's
appreciate Aneke TV, and I hope the global reach will continue, because it's a welcome development, because technology has made the world a village. And therefore, I see Aneke TV tapping into this development and sustaining it beyond this time. So I appreciate Aneke TV for what they are doing.
Honorable Kenwoke, former member, Enugu State House of Assembly, where he represented the good people of Igbo West constituency, has been our guest today on the show. Thank you very much, sir. So, dear viewer, that's where we'll wrap it up on the show today. We hope you have added more to your knowledge of the ongoing crisis rocking the PDP. Well, we don't know what hope the opposition parties have in the country, but we hope for the better. My name is Isi Okwu, signing out.
Thank you.